Hi, I'd like to call this meeting to order as the notes. The meeting has been posted and noticed according to law. And for a roll call, looks like all trustees are here. Correct. So thanks for everyone coming tonight. It's a very important next 4 sessions for the board and for all of our committee and resident members who participate in the process for their local government. I just wanted to say I'm really excited about it and that I know how hard the committees have worked for the village in the past and how you continue to do the great work for us with your time. And as we're going through new management and new elected officials on the board, we have not determined the outcome of the visioning process. We don't have a predetermined outcome, so if we get to a point where our committee does not have any assignments, we will work together as a board to figure out what the next step will be for committees. But at this moment, we don't have a predetermined workload, so thank you for participating, and as we work together, we will come to a solution and a form of next steps. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Rebecca.
So thank you everyone for coming. I've been asked to recap some background about why we're doing an annual vision planning process, what the situation is, and what the current state is here at the village. So wanted to just take you back for those of you, I know that we all love to read all these long plans. I do, but many may not. So here's a summary version. In 2015, the village approved a vision plan that was slated to last about 10 years. And it was a culmination of a lot of time and hard work and a number of different stakeholders within the community. And it has some pretty fascinating ideas that go with it. At the conclusion of it, though, it ended up to result in a vision statement that was about a half a page. And that's too long of a vision statement. It also didn't identify strategy for accomplishing the vision, priorities, and goals. So there was a laundry list of a number of items that needed to get done, but there was not direction or consensus in terms of how to go about doing that. In addition to that, we also had a long-range financial plan, which identified capital projects, some of our existing services, and some larger items that the village wanted to accomplish. So we had the vision plan, the long-range plan, and no prioritization. And then we have a span of time that has continued, and some groups, some citizen committees, and stakeholders in the village who are really doing some outstanding things. It's been one of the most impressive things to learn about and sit in with some of our citizen committees, many of you who are representative of them here tonight. The challenge there is that we can't just have a vision for our community. We need to have an agreed vision, and we need to ensure that the decisions that we make up here annually support that vision. It's doubly important when you come to local government only because the people who are seated in these seats change over time, and department heads and leaders of some of our key services also change over time. So there has to be some sense of a consistent roadmap. That being said, a lot of what we do is also respond to changes and directives at a local, state, and federal government level that we don't necessarily control. So we have to also acknowledge that while we may have a strategy and a priority, that can also change and should if we're really adapting to our environment, at least on an annual basis, so that we're continually staying limber with how we address things in the village and can really stay open and receptive to change and better ways of improving how we do it. So that is a little bit about how we got here. One of the reasons why I also find it so crucial and excited to see some of the committees here is that there has not been a more formalized process for the board to hear some of these phenomenal things that the committees are doing, discussing. There also hasn't been an opportunity for the board to weigh in and provide direction as to whether that fits or does not fit within the vision and the prioritization for that. Because while we all wish we had infinite resources, we don't. If you're like me, some days you want there to be more extra hours in the day, and there just aren't. And so we know that those are some things that we encounter and that we're challenged with. I'm excited to have a group here that is receptive to going through the process and wants to. I'm excited that we have some new representation on the scope of our board and leadership to embark on the process with. And I want to share with you in conclusion that I really believe that now is the right time for our community to be having this discussion and to continue the discussion moving forward. It is absolutely essential at this time that some prioritization comes out of this process. Because the organization has also been stressed. It's something that I shared with this board in January, shortly after coming in to the organization. And it's something that continues to be present within our organization because people, we have very talented people, we have talented board members, we have talented committees. And they want to meet the expectations and do good work here at the village. In the absence of those expectations and prioritization of those expectations, we will fail. And I know that this is a group that doesn't want to do that. And I know that this group has all of the right ingredients to be successful. So I look forward to working with you on that. Did I miss anything, Lindsay? Okay. I'm done.
All right. And then, so we'd like to hear from Lindsay, our facilitator for the project or program that we're undertaking.
Thank you. And so Lindsay Schmidt, thank you all for coming. And Rebecca did a great background. One thing that I did want to state, and was in the memorandum, was just the sheer volume of requests to be prioritized coming in. There's over 100 submitted initiatives. We're talking a lot of dollars and time, and those are limited resources. So before we go into the process, and I'll overview that at a real high level, because we want to be agile and flexible within that to ensure that there's collaboration as we go through this process. I want to first take a minute to define prioritization. So according to the dictionary, Merriam-Webster, right, prioritization or to prioritize means to organize items so the most important get done first or dealt with first. So with that in mind, these special meetings have been scheduled with the purpose to engage in the understanding and the organization of all these, like the organizing of all these initiatives. Like they don't go away, we're just organizing in the way of prioritization. So the how becomes important in terms of prioritization, which is, there's been some expressed concern in the memo, so I want to definitely address that in terms of the overall structure proposed, and that's okay, because recognizing we need to be agile and flexible with this, I think that's a baseline to start with. But my role as a facilitator is to really chart and guide this process that allows for that collaboration, participation, and as we build this and shape this going forward, again, keeping the goal in mind of prioritizing, that's what my role here is today. So I want to visit just at a high level the meeting structure that's been laid out so far. And today is meeting one of prioritization, so welcome. Really our focus today is informational. This is an opportunity for you as a village board to gain clarification from department heads, committees here today, and staff on the initiatives that were submitted. So that, again, as you're charged with making decisions and prioritizing, you have the information necessary and the clarification to do so. Meeting two, so there's no action from today. Meeting two next week, Monday, the 18th. The focus for that meeting and the goal would be for the village board to hear and to have a dialogue and deliberate amongst initiatives that they themselves have submitted. So this is new as well, giving you an open dialogue and a forum to really have a discussion around your specific initiatives. The next meeting, and from that meeting too, I think we can decide if there's some level of process of prioritizing, we can start engaging at that point. January 25th, the focus for that, I'm sorry, June 25th, the focus for that meeting is really to advocate for initiatives that you would like to see as part of this prioritization. To advocate for the ones you feel are highest priority, to see if there's alignment that exists, and then engage in a process. And we'll discuss what that process looks like. And then a proposed meeting for potentially July 2nd, using some of that time to really take action.
Lindsay, can I clarify?
Sure.
So for the July 18th, there was a second part. So the administration, so in management for staff is Rebecca's the lead on that. And we've gotten proposals from staff and all the departments. And so Rebecca's going to take a look at those, meet with her staff, and then on the 18th also present what she believes is immediate or necessary from the administrative viewpoint. So we have some of that information to consider. Then the board will deliberate our own initiatives on that day. The 25th will be deliberation of the board initiatives as well as the committee. So we are advocating for which ones we think are very important to prioritize. And it also includes at the very end public comment. So I wanted to make sure that the public understood that there is an opportunity set aside so that we make sure your comments that get also weighed within our process. And then I think the last meeting, if we need it, is
July 2nd.
yes. So if we need it and we don't come to a conclusion, then we would have a July 2nd meeting.
So the focus for today, again, with the intent, the goal and the focus being informational and clarification. I want to go through just what that looks like, but first I want to just highlight some ground rules, which are in the memo as well. I just want to pull up some key ones here. Really in my experience as a facilitator, to allow for, I think ground rules serve, when we step back a minute, they serve an important role within the process to establish transparency and accountability among all partners, everyone involved in the process. And so I want to highlight just one being time, right? We have limited time here as well. So I'm going to adhere to the timetable set forth. If we need additional time, we can talk about that. And recognize the goal of decision making with that in mind. Like prioritization is the goal at the end of this. So focusing on the details, we'll get there and embed all these initiatives, with prioritization being the ultimate goal. That can be our focus. That will be important as part of this process. And Rebecca noted a few of these assumptions already, but just acceptance that the vision statement is very long. When these initiatives were submitted, each one had to align with the vision, part of the vision, so that was noted or identified as part of that. So Vision 2025 is the starting point as it's written. So this is not an item for debate here, so we're going to accept that. And again, focus on facts over opinions, and I think we can kind of move forward in the process outlined today. So our agenda for today, kind of going in the order.
Yes. Trustee Hunt.
I sent an email with some concerns about by presenting the initiatives this way in one binder, it's as if they're all the same sort of thing, and they're not the same sort of thing. They vary all over the map. Some are like, will take years for us to accomplish a major planning, rethinking, and some are like very specific, have a one-time thing. I mean, they're not apples to apples. So I didn't hear any discussion. You said we're going to prioritize, but I didn't hear any discussion about sorting and really putting like with like.
I think that's a great question. Thank you, Trustee Amanda. For the purpose for today, it's about clarification, and that'll be introduced as part of the later process. We'll have
I just want to, because I sent an email, I'm really concerned that we're treating everything as if they're all, the same thing, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear you or Rebecca or Allison mention that that was a concern and that is going to be addressed either on the 18th, the 5th, the 16th, and that one.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
So when we met to decide the structure of the meetings, that will be concerned, that I had the same concern that you did. And moving, so today's just for informational purposes, I'm sorry, I left this
Yeah, I
out.
understand.
The 25th, or the 18th, is going to be where we discuss our own initiatives and then the process for moving forward for the 25th. So whether we wanted to group them, or, if they're everyday items that just happen in budget or they're already existing. So we would determine as a board how we want to group them and move forward on the 25th on that.
Yeah, there's not a predetermined option for doing that today. That'll be decided in collaboration. Thank you. So I want to move forward as far as the facilitation for the clarification for the initiatives. The way the agenda is broken down, there were departments and committees that submitted more than 5 initiatives, some less than 5. So we're going to address the ones with the most initiatives first, giving them a little bit more time. So the way the time is broken down is 10 minutes each. So there'll be a maximum of 10 minutes per question from the board. And we're going to go in order, the order listed in the agenda. So again, to really manage time, I have time cards here. So I'm going to be using them. So within that 10 minutes, when there's 5 minutes remaining, I will hold up the 5-minute sign. And again, when there's 2 minutes remaining, just so we stay on track. So we'll go through that first grouping from 6:25, because we're about right on time, to 7:50. And if we get through all the departments and committees, and there's additional questions, we can go back through again. If some